I remember that episode when that scene aired. Oh, my goodness me. You worked with her, didn't you, Linda?
Yeah, wasn't that moving? It was so moving seeing them. Yeah, I met June loads of times over the years, but I did a play for Today with her probably about 30 years ago, and she sort of looked exactly the same then. She never really changed, looked exactly the same, didn't she, the whole time? And she was always talking about her girls, and she obviously liked a fag wherever she went. She'd find somewhere to have a cigarette. I remember being at the Grosvenor with her, and she went missing. We were all sitting around a table. It was a celebrity do, a charity thing. And sitting at the table, and all of a sudden she went missing. We couldn't find her, and then we found her under the table, having a cigarette under the table.
Oh, God.
And her and Paul O'Grady were the only two people that were ever allowed to smoke at the BBC Green Room, because they knew she wouldn't come in if she couldn't have a cigarette. And I also went to Jersey with her, and as soon as we got off the plane, the first thing she did was lit up her cigarette. Then we got on a horse and cart that took us to where we were going, and while she was on the horse and cart, she was having a fag and that. And signing autographs, she'd have the cigarette in one hand and the pen in the other hand. But she was lovely. She was the funniest lady as well, and so honest.
Yeah.
I mean, there are quite a few stories about her on EastEnders. If she didn't like the storyline, she'd just walk off, so I'm not doing this anymore.
Well, she had the power to do that.
Yeah,
because she was an icon, a soap icon, and I don't feel like soap stars of that ilk, that there isn't really many of them left anymore.
Proper characters.
Yeah.
They used to create great characters. And
yeah, there's about 5 of them.
Yeah. Elsie Tanner is one that springs to mind. But I think Dot Cotton is probably the most recognisable. She was certainly the most impressionable
and approachable
in that everybody could do an impression of Dot Cotton.
And everyone did.
Oh, I say, that kind of thing.
That was very good.
Well, I know, I just thought about that and I thought, yeah, maybe I should do it, because there was a time on this show when Kay Adams just described me as Dot Cotton. She said I was just like Dot Cotton.
I can see why she'd say that.
I remember her coming on this show.
Didn't
she
smoke.
was such a joy when she came on, because she didn't care. Like,
No.
I mean, I think we've got a clip of it, hopefully. I hope you don't mind me saying you're 92?
Oh, sure.
But I have to ask you, what... Says loose woman.
Oh, thank you. I can take this home. I'd have preferred a China one.
We'll make sure we get there. So what is your recipe for a happy, long life? How do you keep going?
I don't know about happy, darling.
A long life, then?
Well, I've always taken a lot of extra things, vitamins. I've always taken, 3, 6, 9, C, D, E, D3...
Yes, the alphabet.
And also minerals. Now, minerals are vital. You see, there was a scientist, a Nobel Prize winner, Linus Pauling. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's American, but I think he must have come from Sweden or somewhere. And he said that all illness stems from a lack of minerals. So that, have you heard that before?
Yes.
You have.
Yes.
It might have come from me.
Do you know what? Let's bring Nadia into this, because Nads, you also worked with June, and there's something about that vitamin chat, isn't it? Because she'd talk about that a lot on set, wouldn't she?
Well, it wasn't so much as that, and God, I completely identify with everything Linda said. I mean, my first day on EastEnders, I walked into the cabin and she was sat under the no smoking sign smoking. And I'd been obsessed with her before I started the show, and she was like, "Oh, hello, dear." And I just froze. I couldn't say anything. It was so embarrassing. I can still cringe about it now because I was so starstruck. I don't know if she would have described herself as a method actress, but whenever we were at the studio, I only heard Dot. You know, occasionally in the makeup room, she would talk to me as June, but if I met her in the studio, she was Dot. She was I never saw her in her own clothes in the studio. I never saw her arrive. I never saw her leave. She was incredibly quirky. People try to be quirky, but I think June was the original quirky person. I loved her clothes, were outrageous in real life, flowers and lots of colour and quirky hair. But she did do this thing, and I was watching her for ages. What is that she has when she has a cigarette? She would have a cigarette and then she would pop a pill. And then one day she told me that she had a vitamin C, dear, every time she had a cigarette, dear, to counteract the cigarette. And I remember thinking, oh, God, I don't think that's going to do well for her. But, you know, there you go, 95.
Yeah.
She was an incredible actress, but she was very, very funny in real life. And you never quite knew she was taking the mick. So I was always a little bit like, I'm not sure. And then one day, it was a time when I was having a really difficult time. EastEnders wasn't the easiest place to go into, really. And it was the grand dames, like her and Barbara, that were just so kind. And I was going through a particularly difficult time. And I think a lot of people didn't know how to approach me and how to talk to me about it. And June came and found me in the makeup room. And I won't say what she said, but the way she said what she said had a huge impact on me. It really did, at a time that I needed. And she just slipped in. She gave me these few lines, knew exactly what she was doing. She was egoless. Yeah. And that's, as we know, very rare in our business. And yeah, and you know, and all those beautiful daughters. She has the most beautiful daughters. I mean, I haven't seen June for years. And I really felt it yesterday when I heard that she'd passed. I cannot imagine what this is like for her close friends and family, because she was a light up the room kind of person. Vim and vigour, and you could see there when Colleen asked her about her age, you know, she just wanted to dismiss this as just nonsense of age, because she just was who she was, you know, and just 100%.
And such a wonderfully big, warm, iconic character and individual that I believe you didn't even have to be an EastEnders fan to know Dot Cotton and to know June Brown. I mean, her impact is just limitless. Oh, Nads, thanks for sharing those memories with us. Thank you.
It was a pleasure, because she was a damn fine woman.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you soon, my love.
All right, lovely.
Bye. Bye. Bye.